Hey everybody, Adam Davidson, RadCast for Thursday, December 21st, 2023. Consider this portion of the story from Matthew chapter 1. Joseph is a man, an honorable man, a law-following man, pledged to be married to Mary. Mary and Joseph were going to be the newest couple in town, and things were going just terrifically until Mary told Joseph that, yes, she is pregnant. She claimed it was from the Holy Spirit. Joseph does not know what to do, so he begins to ponder these things and mull them in his mind. And we can catch that story picking up at Matthew 1:19. It says this, because Joseph, her husband, was faithful to the law and yet did not want to expose her to public disgrace, he had in mind to divorce her quietly. Now, the divorcing quietly thing is simply this. Within the bounds of the law, he had every right to have her judged publicly and for her to be stoned, like with rocks, like that kind. He doesn't do this. He decides, I think what I'm going to do, I don't want to embarrass Mary. We'll kind of do the documents kind of on the hush-hush and get this thing settled, and we'll all move on with our lives. Joseph, this is his plan. He falls asleep thinking, that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Verse 20, but after he had considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus because he will save his people from their sins. And that's the word of the Lord. Why was Joseph afraid? We can only assume. We can only make educated guesses. Joseph was afraid because he didn't want to be publicly disgraced by the fact that he's engaged with a woman or engaged to a woman who's pregnant with somebody else's kid. Joseph is afraid because he doesn't want to bring disgrace onto his family. Joseph is afraid that he's being cheated on, even though Mary says this whole thing about the Holy Spirit. And Joseph is afraid because he's about to be a husband and a dad. And those are hard jobs. Now, all of these together, we can assume that all of them, some of them, at least one of them, that these were a motivating factor for Joseph. Joseph is afraid. Fear is a powerful motivator. It's not a good one, but it's a powerful one. He comes up with this plan. He falls asleep. The angel says to him, do not be afraid, which is a recurring theme for angels. They're always telling people not to be afraid. But you know what catches my attention this morning? The angels never give reasons as to why they shouldn't be afraid of certain things. Or in other words, the angels never address their specific fears. Like the angel doesn't come and say, Joseph, don't be afraid. I know that you're afraid of public disgrace. It's going to be okay because people will eventually understand because this is the Messiah. He doesn't address his fear and say, Joseph, I know you're afraid of the shame it'll bring on your family. Don't worry. You're actually a son of David and you have this incredible lineage that will be continued. The angel doesn't address the specific fears. The angel just says, don't be afraid. And here's why. What is in Mary is from God. And you're going to call him Jesus and he's going to save his people from their sins. So the way that God handles our fear is very rarely will he address the specific concerns of our fear. What he does instead is he gives us the reason that we should not be afraid and at least a glimpse of the vision of what he's trying to carry out. Now think about this in your day-to-day life. What is it that stops you from taking the next step? What is it that robs you of your courage? What reasons do you come up with that God can't be trusted? These are all specific fears that you might want to have addressed and logically explained away. Perhaps something like Job's case where God owes you an explanation for everything. He doesn't, for two reasons. One, he's God, and two, he's got it. The way that God addresses fears is he simply says, don't be afraid. Cancel that whole thing. Don't even worry about it. He says, and here's why. Because I'm God, this is my hand at work, and I've got a plan beyond your wildest imagination. And that's all you need to know. Cam, 6 years old, my son, he tends to worry, gets a little anxious about this and that, wants to know the specific plans of every moment. I say, Cam, you don't have to be afraid of any of that. You're in good hands, and we're going to have a great day, aren't we? Yeah, okay. If I were to walk through and address everything that he wondered about, my goodness, I just have to pull the car over and get out a whiteboard and start drawing diagrams and stuff. But no. Jesus says to us now, this Prince of Peace, this good shepherd to our soul, he says, do not be afraid, little ones. Why? Just tell me why not to be afraid. What do you do about this and this? He just goes, don't be afraid. This is what it means for the coming of the Messiah. That fear canceled out because God is God. He is good. He's got it. He's got you. Trust him. He's got a plan. He knows what he's doing. Don't even worry about the fears. Drop them. Trust Jesus. Eyes on him. That's RadCast.